rooted. I have the other one that's getting painted hair. And of course, some more darkening, a little bit more shading. And then she should be pretty ready to go. I haven't been recording as much as I was before. I've been working on some other projects, and then I've had some personal stuff I've been taking care of outside of the workshop. I always wonder if you guys must be getting bored of me just watching me paint like this. Can't imagine that it would not be repetitive to you guys, because I'm basically doing the same thing over and over again. But if you're hanging with me, I appreciate you so much. Don't want her to look like she's got lipstick on, but I do want a little bit of the deeper colors on her lips. The last coat that I put on these guys was the purple red, and that made it pretty deep and made it look pretty good. But now I want to go back over it and add just a touch of the more pastel to kind of brighten up the skin just a tad. You can hear my washing machine going. Yesterday was a muddy day here, and Cookie tracked some mud in on our bedspread, so today became wash the bedspread day. I was gonna do it yesterday, but I ran out of time. She's got a little rash that developed back here. So sweet. One of my favorite parts about this is when those kinds of things just magically happen. doing the same thing to this one. And you can see I've already done the veining, and now I'm just balancing out the skin tone. And I think this really helps to bring out some of the veining down there underneath the top layer of skin. A couple of new things I'm planning to bring into 2018 is I'm going to start offering texturing for custom babies. Still working on my technique for that. I don't want to offer it until I'm satisfied with my outcomes. So I'm hoping probably spring and summer is when that will become available. I'm also offering dedicated videos, which is basically the entire painting process, creation process for a custom baby that doesn't have any other dolls in it, just the one that the customer has ordered. And this will be like a keepsake video. Don't know how many people are going to be interested in that, but I'm probably going to leave it up until summer, and then if it hasn't been that popular, then I'll probably just take it down off of my store. Let me run out here and get a couple of the kits. I want to show you guys the blank kit versus the almost complete of the Twin A. So let me tell you guys about my experience yesterday morning. So I did something different yesterday. I had agreed to meet for lunch with one of my dear friends that I don't get to see very much anymore. So I got up yesterday morning and I went to the bathroom. Toilet malfunctioned, flooded the bathroom, cleaned that up. Decided, okay, well, obviously I need a shower, so turned on the shower. Shower head blew off the top of the holder, came down, and it was just drenching the bathroom. So now the bathroom's flooded with pure clean water, which I again had to clean. So that was a big struggle, a very big struggle yesterday morning. But the good news is I still made it to my lunch on time, still had a fabulous time, and got to catch up with an old friend. And it's not like that is in itself is not something to be like tickled pink about, unless you're like me and you have so many problems with anxiety that you just end up like not being able to do social things like that. So for me it was a milestone. For normal people it's just a normal thing, but I have to share it because it's not a normal thing for me, and I was very thankful to be able to do it. And I was sitting at the lunch and just thinking, oh, God is so good, because there was a time not even 6 months ago when I would have never been able to do that. I would have been in an instant panic attack, even just driving to the restaurant, which is literally like 5 minutes away from my house, by the way. So I just have to put that out there, that I'm really, really thankful for that. And life is about the little things, and when you can't enjoy the little things, your life's kind of stressful. Alright, so this one hasn't been baked yet. But here you can see the before and the after. So you can see how transformational this, albeit slow and tedious, process is to bring life into the vinyl. There are so many nuances and so many shades, so many shadows that have to be worked with in order to bring a lifelike appearance. And one of the things that I have come to understand with my study of genuine, real live baby portraits and reborn doll portraits is one of the things that makes the baby appear more realistic, is that the outline has to cast a shadow. If the outline doesn't cast a shadow, and the shadow is, it's different for every baby, but it's in the reds. It's in the reds and the blues. If you don't get that cast around the silhouette and in the creases, the edges, then the baby looks flat. Very flat. So I work hard to get that kind of glow about the baby. And I work hard to get like the corners and the edges to reflect that deeper shadow so that when I photograph them, they pop. They look like real babies. So here you can see the difference between the two. So lots of people have asked, particularly in the last few weeks, why does it take so long to make a lifelike baby? Because you're moving from this to this, and these things don't happen overnight. I wish that I could say that I could rush a baby and get the baby done in just a couple of days, but it's not going to happen. These things take time. I think it's just because we live in this world where we're all about instant gratification. I think I want such and such. So I go to Amazon and I order from Amazon Prime, and basically as soon as I check out, there's a drone over my house that's dropping off whatever it is I want. We're in that age of instant gratification. And I think that it's kind of a trap, because we're losing sight of the value of time, the value of the processes that things move through to be created, to be brought to us. And I think that really affects, the functioning of our gratitude in life too, because if everything is like bing bam boom, right there it is, then, it's just like we sort of take things for granted a little bit. And I think particularly in artistic endeavors, whether you're a collector of lifelike dolls, or you're a collector of, basically any kind of handmade art, part of the beauty in collecting that is that you are purchasing something that someone took so much time, so much energy, and used their gifts to make that particularly for you. And I think that when we really appreciate that an artist is putting that energy into it, then the product that you get is no longer a thing. It's something important. It has more of a value. And I really want, I want my collectors to be amazed every time you pick up your baby. I want you to just fall in love with this beautiful piece of art. And of course, you guys know I am the furthest thing from, being proud. I'm not a proud person. I was raised by my grandmother, and she told us, don't get yourself up on a pedestal because God will flick you right off that thing. So I don't ever put myself up there. I know that what I create is a gift, but I want you guys to also know that aside from that gift, personally, I'm invested in every doll, because I feel that this work is important, and this work is something that I asked God to bless in my life, and I asked Him to give me the ability to do this on a larger scale, and He's done that, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity. So, while I know that I can't make 100% of the people happy, because let's just be honest here, there are some people that are sadly just really, really lost in their life, and they're really, really sad, and maybe they're angry, and they're looking for outlets, and some people have very unrealistic expectations. But I'm very transparent in my work. I like to show my work to every client before they purchase. I don't want someone just to purchase because they heard I was a decent artist. I want you guys, everyone, to do their research. I want you to see what goes into them, and I want you to see the quality of my work. And while I can't stop the haters, because there's always going to be haters, you know, bigger level, bigger devil, you know, there's always going to be people that come against you, no matter what you do, particularly when you're a faithful person, you know, you do tend to get attacked quite a bit. So I don't spend a lot of time trying to disguise or hide the haters, because they just honestly don't matter that much in the big picture. Of course, I'm always going to go way above and beyond to make people happy, to make sure that they are happy with their purchase. And I hope that everyone will be, but at the same time, I've had to kind of get a little bit of a tough skin and say, okay, you know, this is what I'm doing, and it's 100%, and I'm transparent, and I'm honest, and, you know, that's my contribution. Sometimes my dolls take longer to make than probably maybe any other artist, you know, in the free world. I don't know. You know, sometimes it does take me quite a long time, but, you know, I'm putting a lot of effort and energy into it, and the finished product is, I feel that it needs to be something that you're going to love. And there are some doll kits that look much more realistic when they're finished than others. There are some that the only one that looks realistic is the prototype. There aren't very many like that, but there are a few. So when you're thinking about buying a lifelike doll, don't just look at the prototype pictures. Look at pictures from artists that have made this doll. Look at my stuff if you're thinking about buying from me. I've done just about one of probably 75 to 80% of the sculpts that are available. I've done at least one. So look at those. Look at the past work. Look at all the pictures that you can get your hands on of that kit. And then talk to your artist. Talk to your artist about how they feel about the kit that you have in mind. Ask them questions like, how does this render when it's painted and completed? Does it look realistic? The sculpt itself, does it render well? A couple of my absolute favorite babies that render so effortlessly are the Bonnie Browns. Her babies just really, they have so much detail that they just kind of pop. I also love Audrey Stoitz. She does great babies. Hers are very realistic. Elisa Marks, I love her dolls. I mean, there's just too many to name, and there's a handful, and I'm weeding them out of my shop. So if you're seeing that some of my sculpts that I had offered previously are going away, it's because I just don't enjoy doing them, because they're too hard to make look real. And I really prefer working with babies that are going to render more lifelike. And I don't want people to be disappointed. So, you know, I've just started to take them back when I've had problems, you know, where when they turn out, they're just not as lifelike as I had hoped and as a collector had hoped. Then I take that sculpt away. And then what I do is I just work with the collector on building that doll in whatever way necessary to be able to make it what they want. So it requires a tremendous amount of time and influence and, you know, artistic vision and honesty. You know, I don't want my customers to be afraid to just, you know, be honest with me and say, you know, hey, I'd like for it to be this way or that way or whatever, you know. And I do have an option where you guys can get that preview, the finished baby preview, before the baby is shipped. The reason why I don't do this for every single buyer is because it's unrealistic. I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to do that because I have currently 44 open orders that I am working through. So you can imagine having that many orders to take the time to photograph and reach out to every buyer, that's difficult. So it's something that I offer, but it's not something that I include for everyone. I do on special circumstances. I will offer that. If there's a question about realism at the beginning of the sculpt, then I will offer that to a client, you know, to make sure that they feel comfortable in purchasing this doll. Let's see, what else is new? Oh, I've had people ask me, what the heck is a paddable bottom? Because I put this in my Etsy store, and I may have put it on Facebook, I don't know. But a paddable bottom is, you know, you have the cloth body, and you stuff the cloth body. You have, most of the bodies that I use have these little gathered tushy area. So with my paddable bottoms, I make sure that when you hold the baby, their little bottom rests in your hand, and that feels realistic. And when you pat that through the diaper, it feels like a real baby's bottom. I also have started for larger babies. It's harder to do it on preemies because they shouldn't be very heavy. They should still be pretty light because they're small. But for like the 20 and the 21-inch babies, what I've started to do in addition to the paddable bottom is I'm also adding a firm spine. So what that is basically strategic dense materials in the back, and then the soft squishy in the front, so that when you hold them, the tushy's in your hand, and then when you want to burp them, then you have that more solid layer here in the back, so that it's not just like you're pressing cotton. I think it leaves a much more realistic feel. I also do scent my babies. I scent them with baby powder, baby fresh scent. It does last for quite a long time. So if you don't want your baby scented, make sure that you send me a message and tell me, like, I don't want any scent on my baby. Not too many people request to not have the scent though, so I just put it in there. What else? I'm adding sound to babies now. I have a repurposed personal warmer item that I use and that I'm offering now to warm your vinyl babies. They can be used on silicone too. Silicone's pretty resilient as far as heat goes. Just got to make sure that it's completely cured and that it's not gonna rub off. I can't guarantee it for dolls that I did not personally make, because I can't guarantee the quality of the adherence of the paint to the product, and I can't make a claim that it would be safe for a doll that I haven't seen, that I don't know how it was created. But for my babies, it's 100% safe. It's not going to damage your doll. It's not going to make any paint run off. It's not going to fade anything. Nothing like that. So that's an exciting thing that I'm doing, because I think, we're very sensual human beings. We like the more of the sensory input that we have, the more realistic of an experience. And what I'm basically selling is an experience. I'm selling an experience to hold this doll, which becomes an expression of a living infant in your arms. So I've been working on this for about 1.5 years, trying to figure out, like, how can this be done? How can we have the tactile stimulation, paddable bottom, firmer spine? Okay, got that. Baby curls up in your arms. That's the tactile for the touch. Okay, now what next? Well, we want them to smell like a baby. So I scent my babies so that they smell like they just got out of the bath. So I have now the touch and I have the smell. The site, of course, is going to be the many layers, the many dimensions of paint that are used, all of the subtle nuances of the baby's new skin. So now you've got your paddable bottom, the firm spine, the realistic painting, the baby fresh scent. So what's left? Well, there's no sound. So we want to add in that sound box. Sound box is slipped right inside the cloth body. You don't feel it. I bury it in the filling, in the polyfill, so you don't really feel it. Everything's pretty firm, and then you just push the little tummy, or sometimes I'll put it, depending on the size of the baby and where it fits best, I may put it near the tush, or I may put it down below the back. It just depends on the size of the body that I'm using and how it's going to work best. So it's going to be inside the body, and usually I include extra ties so that you can change the batteries. The sound boxes, the sound units that I use are ones that go for quite a while. Like, they're not just like 10 seconds. They're usually, if I can get it, you know, the one that I like and it's not out of stock, generally it's about 130 seconds of baby sounds. So that gives you a little bit of time to really enjoy that. Like I said, what I'm offering is the experience. Sorry guys, hold on just a minute. I'm trying to hang up all my parts on my new hanger that I got. I'm so excited about it. It covers half the wall. It's actually a mug rack, which is kind of cool, you know. Look at me repurposing stuff. Alright, so I'll show you guys the before and the after of the tummy plate. So if you can see this, you know, you've got a lot of different things that are going on. I don't highlight every one of the little wrinkles in this particular tummy plate because I don't think it's necessary. I feel like that makes it look more like an irritation rather than, you know, that the heat has been held on the baby, and, you know, when they get warm they get their little redness that happens. I don't want it to look inflamed. I just want it to look like you've got a little bit of heat stuff going on there. And then of course the veining that's put in, and it's darker in some areas than others. I like to make it travel down below the belly button so that it looks, when you put it on the baby, it looks a little more three-dimensional. I want it to look like you're not just looking at one layer. I want it to look like you're looking through the translucent top layer and you're seeing the layers underneath that are coming out at you. So that's that. I'm almost done with these two. I just have the painted hair and the nail tips on the one, and then I'm expecting the rooted hair back next week or week after, and then, you know, the fingernails and the toenails on that one, and then these are finished. I will be starting a twin A and a twin B today. That's a expedited processing order. That's another service that I do offer. I don't rush the work because the rush work is not going to be as good. What the expedited processing actually means is that you're putting priority on that particular order, so it gets kind of bumped up. And of course, rush processing is after I have received the materials to make the doll. I can't, you know, I can't get it done in 5 or 6 weeks if I haven't yet got the materials. So the expedited processing is basically timed once I have the materials. If there is a wait for the materials, then let's say you got expedited processing for 5 weeks, but it takes me a week to get in all the materials to complete your project. In that case, then that 5-week period will start at the time that I receive the kit, because I can't be working until I get all the materials. So that's a new thing that I'm doing. What else am I doing? I think that's it. I think that's all I'm doing. So I hope you guys are all doing really well. I appreciate you guys keeping in touch with me and the personal messages, and you know, that means a lot to me. Like, I love people, and when people buy from me, you know, I don't want it to be like a cold purchase. I want it to be part of a friendship, you know, and part of a connection. That might sound silly, I don't know. To me, it just, like, I want to have that relationship, and I want to build that trust with my buyers, my collectors, because you guys are very important to me, and you know, my art is very important to me, and I continually ask God to help me learn new ways to make my babies better, and new ways to enhance my work, and new ways to better communicate with people, and a better understanding of my buyer's creative vision. Which reminds me, I am offering prototype styling now. It's going to go up on the Etsy store, on the website, probably by the end of this week. What that is going to be is, you know, if you want your, let's say you wanted to buy a twin A from my Etsy store, custom twin A, and you want it to look like the third listing image. So there are going to be options in the Etsy listing that says, you know, copy photo number whatever it is, 3. And so that way I have a reference of what to do. Now, of course, picture 1 is going to be the very first one, and then I think it goes up sometimes through 10, and then when you repeat and you keep scrolling, it's going to go back to 1. So make sure that your number is correct when you're requesting that. It's probably going to take me, honestly, actually, until maybe Saturday to get that up, because I have currently over 200 sculpts that I'm offering, and I have to go through individually, because there's no way to bulk edit that. I have to go through individually and put in those options, so it's going to take a little bit. If you guys have any questions, or, you know, any comments, any encouragement, that would be great. But anything that you're thinking, you know, I welcome. I want to expand my knowledge. I want to build on the skills that I've already acquired. And I want to bring joy to people. And I want people to be excited about buying a doll from me. I want people to be, you know, drawn to open communication and excitement and enthusiasm. One of the greatest honors for me is to create something that is going to be loved and cherished by someone else. Like, that to me is just a huge, huge thing. So I suppose that's it for right now. I'll probably post videos that I'm going to record first, and then just kind of do a compilation type thing for the start to finish on the next couple of dolls. And that will go probably another 7 to 10 days. So that's exciting. I'm also thinking about getting another camera or 2 and offering a live feed instead of just the YouTube live thing. So that's exciting. I'm hoping to be able to have, because I'm not a tech savvy person, but I'm hoping to have a good grasp on what I'm buying and how to operate it. So, you know, prayers appreciated. Obviously at a loss, and I'm asking God to show me which things I need to buy to do the things that I'm seeing in my head that you know, that I want to do. So it usually comes through pretty quick, so I'm just waiting for those aha things to pop out, you know, on Amazon or whatever, because I get inspiration from all sorts of places. So, but again, thank you guys so much for your support, for your taking the time to view these videos. You know, sometimes I honestly think I'm probably boring you guys to pieces because I'm not that interesting, but just to know that there are those of you that are out there that are kind of just watching me paint and spending this time with me, it just means so much to me. It really touches my heart. You guys all touch my heart. So thank you very much. I'm going to go find some breakfast now because I'm starving. And I'm hoping to have, like I said, some videos posting later. And I'll keep you guys updated on the new camera thing that I'm working on now. If anybody has any suggestions for how to do that, I am all ears. Thanks so much and have a really blessed day. Come on, Cookie, let's go find some breakfast. You want to find some breakfast?